Hello and welcome to Big Bore Knife and Gear. Today is part 3 of the Off-Grid Knives little series. This is the Off-Grid Knives Badger. This one is the blacked out version. Such fantastic actions. This one is the blacked out version. Let's go over some specs and then we'll dive into this little chunky beast. We got an overall length on this one of 6.9 inches. We've got a blade length of 3 inches, a blade thickness of 3.6 millimeters. Blade steel on this one is D2. Finish on this is the black wash. Scales on this are beautifully done FRN. This thing is running on ceramic bearings, and this guy is coming in at 5.2 ounces. So let's close this down, take a look at the scales. Scales on this, not my favorite material, but this is actually done very well. This is fiberglass reinforced nylon, or FRN. This is also tip up right or left carry. Another deep carry clip from Off-Grid Knives. This one, just like the Viper, I really dig the open window with the 3 inset screws there. Really visually appealing as far as my tastes go. This one also does have I just cannot get over how great the action is on these Off-Grid knives. This one, just like in part 1 or the first video, the Viper, this one is lockable so that you cannot disengage the lock bar, which turns it into a fixed blade knife. My personal preference, I could do without that on any knife, but again, just personal preference. The milling on these scales is this dimpled like golf ball style, and even though it's not rough, it does give you some really good texture for grip. Jimping done great on the spine of the blade. This one does have a little bit of jimping on the flipper tab. But in my hands, because this is a smaller knife, when I go to deploy this, because of my big old fingers, I don't even get the jimping. I just catch the very upper lip of the tab and it rockets right out. The detent so far on all 3 of these knives have just been fantastic. Centering on this one, damn near straight down the middle. It does favor the lock side just barely. Ergos on this, even in my big old hands, this is a basically a 3-finger knife. If I choke way up here, I can barely get my pinky on there. But with that said, it feels actually pretty comfortable in my big hands. Just like the Viper though, the position of this clip on the smaller handle in my hand, if you can see, catches me right in the meaty part of my palm, and it does create, a hot spot for me. It's not horrible, but it's there, and the harder you grip to use, the more pronounced you can feel it, for me anyhow. Large size hands or medium, smaller size hands probably won't be an issue. The jimping on the spine here, if I choke back on the handle, fits perfectly on my thumb, but in normal use with my big old hands, as you can see, doesn't really do anything for me. But if I squeeze back, no issues. No finger choil per se, but in my hand, as you can see, I can get the tip of my thumb almost to the tip of this blade for some really fine work if need be. Just a really good, fantastically built little tank of a knife. And I say little tank because even though it's a smaller knife, we've got a width here from the two widest parts of about 1.75 inches. If we flip this over and go just by the handle, the widest part is going to be just shy of 1.5 inches. So she's a big girl. She's a big little girl, I should say. Another great offering from Off Grid Knives. This one is still readily available on both Amazon or offgridknives.com. Just like the Rhino, Off Grid Knives actually has a better price right now at $59. I found it on Amazon for $65, so keep that in mind if you guys want to go check these out. And I would definitely recommend doing that. Again, this is the third Off Grid Knives I've handled, and all three of them have been fantastic. I also saw on Off Grid Knives website, they do have some premium knives as well, called the Elite Series. You know, they're pushing just over the 200 mark with M390, S35, titanium. Good looking stuff. I might have to get one of those in my hands and give them a try too. This one, just like the Rhino, is made for them by Bestech. So if you're familiar with Bestech and the quality that they're putting out, then you will not be disappointed with these. This one is on loan too from Therapeutic Edge, which I forgot to mention earlier. So Peter, thank you so much for that. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Have you heard of Off Grid Knives? Have you handled them? So far, I am thoroughly impressed by the quality of their products. Again, this one is the blacked out version. Everything on here is black, with the exception of their logos. So, show side of the blade, you've got the Off Grid Knives logo. If we can get this to focus. Why won't you focus? There we go. You've got the blade stamp of D2, and then on the pocket clip, their logo as well. And again, what really caught my attention on this one, as well as the Viper, is the mini deep carry clip with this nice open window cutout and the 3 inset screws. To me, I absolutely love this visually. I don't know why, I just do. This one, unlike the Rhino, if we can get this to focus at all, it's a little hard because everything is black. The scales, or not the scales, the aligners on this are not milled out at all for weight reduction. So for this little 6.9 inch knife with a 3 inch blade, it does have a 5.2 ounce weight to it. But again, for me, I don't care about that. It feels good in hand. It's wide enough here that even in my extra large hands, if I really choke up, I mean, uncomfortably, I can fit 4 fingers, but normal grip, it's a 3-finger knife for me. But it's wide enough with this swell that it really fills in your hand. Yeah. She's a beauty. Anyhow, listen to this one last time. Just fantastic action. That's all I have for today, folks. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment because I love the feedback. And until next time, take care.